Started off working at my mom's house, but I'm still stuck inside my mom's house. Dreaming about 10 bands when I walk it out. Then I wake up, boy, what you talking about? You ain't never gonna catch me slipping. Just wait until you see me winning. And I'ma tell you from the jump, I just hope you listen. Homie, wait until you see me winning.
Welcome back to another edition of Absurdity Sports. It's been a beautiful Friday in the world of sports, March 9th. And I know what you're thinking. It's been a while since I've heard from Absurdity. Well, unfortunately, that is the truth. But what we've been doing is we've been trying to find ways to grow our brand, reach our maximum reach, grow our reach, to have more listeners like you. And one way we've been doing that is here lately we've been live on WTTU 88.5 Tennessee Tech's student radio station. And we've been messing with some bugs, and we've finally figured out a way how we're going to do that and be able to post our podcast. And we're looking at ways to get onto YouTube. I've reached out to several people. Going to thank them for their support. But you know what? Enough of what's been going on. Let's talk about what happened today. Just today alone, honestly, could take up this whole show. The Cleveland Browns did not win any games this season. But by gosh, they sure as hell won today. March 9th, Cleveland Browns fans, mark it on the calendar as a day you'll never forget, because it's the day you owned. The day the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, who have been nothing but a dumpster fire, won today. They own today. And as far as I'm concerned, they may have just won the whole entire offseason. Kirk Cousins goes to the Vikings. Take him. Look what the Browns done today. Honestly, they've went from a no-win team to a team that's going to win at least 4 to 5 games minimum. Minimum. I could see this team, depending on what they do in the draft and what other positions they fill and who they sign in free agency, could be so much better than what people are expecting. But to kick things off today, they trade for Pro Bowl wide receiver Jarvis Landry from the Miami Dolphins. In exchange for Landry, they gave up a 2018 fourth-round draft pick and a 2019 seventh-round draft pick. You've got a Pro Bowl wide receiver, a guy that's consistently putting up numbers that you can count on, a veteran, for a fourth and seventh rounder? Are you kidding me? What a steal. What a trade by the Browns. And then, just when you think they're done, nope, they go and get Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, who the Bills have just been honestly trying to find a way to get rid of. Well, you know what it took? It took the 65th overall pick in the upcoming draft is what it took. And honestly, not a bad deal for the Browns. Not a bad deal at all. They gave up a pretty valuable pick. I mean, 65th overall, you're not getting top 10 talent. But there's talent in the third round to be had. Every draft. And you give that up, but you get a veteran quarterback, something this team has lacked. You get a veteran quarterback with skills, with the ability to extend plays with his legs, the ability to come in and win games. He took the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs, for crying out loud. Ended the longest postseason drought in all of sports. He can do that for Cleveland too. No doubt in my mind. And their GM, John Dorsey, has completely delivered. He promised to lace Cleveland's roster with veteran players with proven past experience. And that's exactly what he's done. Jarvis Landry fits the bill just how the doctor ordered it. That's what you need. And then you got Tyrod Taylor, a guy who was a backup, goes to Buffalo, gets that starting experience, wins games, takes them to the playoffs. And then, just to solidify, just to end the day, they say, bye, Deshaun. Bye, Deshaun Kaiser. We don't need you no more. They ship him to the Packers for cornerback Demarius Randall. And don't forget, the Packers drafted Randall in the first round of the 2015 NFL Draft. Now, he obviously hasn't played that. I mean, he's played well. He's been solid. He's been decent. But he's not a guy that everybody knows. But you're able to get rid of Deshaun Kaiser, a guy you obviously did not trust to lead the team for the future. So you get a position of need, a cornerback. You can never have too many corners in the NFL. You can never have too good of a secondary. It's just not possible. I'm telling you, as soon as the Browns traded for Landry, I knew, all right, so this is going to be wild. Their offseason's getting wild. And when they traded for that, I was talking with Tex, who's not able to be here today. He's traveled for spring break. But we were talking, and he was like, they got to go sign Keenum. They got to go sign Case. Somebody that's might not work out long term, but can, groom the next guy up, which is what I've been saying all along with A.J. McCarron. But those are done. They do something even better, in my opinion. They go get Tyrod Taylor, someone who can get you to the playoffs. And my first reaction is, okay, they got Tyrod. That'll be good with Kaiser. He'll be able to groom Kaiser a little bit. No, they don't want Kaiser. He's gone. So they acquired Jarvis Landry. They acquired Tyrod Taylor. And they shipped Kaiser off for Demarius Randall. What a great day to be a Cleveland Browns fan. Go Dog Pound. But, so, here's what I'm thinking. Tyrod Taylor's your quarterback. His toys to play with right now, he's got Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Corey Coleman, David Njoku, Duke Johnson. That's solid. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's solid. I feel like you're going to keep Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman on the outside. Corey Coleman's a speedster, can stretch the field. Hopefully he stays healthy. You have Jarvis Landry in the slot. He's great up at the line of scrimmage. He's great at running them quick slants. He's great at catching the ball. I mean, look at his receptions. He's a go-to. You can count on him. And Cleveland fans, I know Josh Gordon's broke your hearts so many times with off-the-field issues. But honestly, Jarvis Landry is a good pairing for Josh Gordon. He's going to keep his head on straight. And honestly, I just feel like the moves they made today solidified that they're taking Saquon Barkley number 1 overall. No doubt about it. They've got Tyrod Taylor. They don't have to spend that number 1 pick on Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen. It's not happening. It don't have to happen. So my initial reaction was they're going to take Saquon 1, and they're drafting best quarterback available at 4. But now that I've sat and thought about it and talked to numerous people about it, that's not what's going to happen at all. They're going to take Saquon at 1. Saquon Barkley is a Cleveland Brown. They might as well go ahead and have Roger Goodell announce it. But then what's going to follow is they're probably going to take Minkah Fitzpatrick out of Alabama at 4. He's going to be a great player. They need great players to get them out of this funk they've been in. But the only way that is not what happens is if they trade out of 4 and acquire more picks, which I totally see them doing. But I'm just going to sit here and say right now they're taking Saquon Barkley number 1, Fitzpatrick at 4, and look for them to snag Lamar Jackson in round 2 or 3. There's not a better groomer for Lamar Jackson than Tyrod Taylor. Lamar's biggest knock is he's a little small and his accuracy issues. But he's going to be fine. Let him sit a year or 2 behind Tyrod. Let him be the backup. Let him learn. He's going to get plenty of reps. He's going to get his reps all throughout preseason. He'll come into a few games. And keep in mind, this Browns team is substantially better already than what they were last season, and they were in a lot of games last season. A lot of games. The moves the Browns have made just have me excited. I mean, no ifs, ands, buts about that. I'm excited to see what the Browns can do. Heck, I even better do $20 today. He's like, they're still not going to win more than 3 games. I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They're winning at least 4. Hell, I think they're going to win at least 6, to be honest. Just depends on how they draft. But in other NFL news, how about the Los Angeles Rams? They've been busy. They've had a busy offseason so far. You think they're tearing their defense up, but I believe they're beefing it up. I believe they're beefing it up. They've traded for Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. That's the best secondary in the NFL. No doubt about it. That's going to be the best secondary, the best set of corners in the NFL. They traded away Alec Ogletree to the Giants for 2 2018 draft picks. They trade Robert Quinn and a 2018 6th-round pick to Miami for a 2018 4th-round and 6th-round pick. And then they franchise tagged LaMarcus Joyner. They're beefing up that secondary. You've got Joyner. You've got him locked down for another year. You've got Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters, who is young and has a controllable contract. And they're going to be able to work something out. They're going to be able to negotiate even a long-term deal. But my biggest question is, what happens to Tremaine Johnson? Do they re-sign him? I don't think so. I think he's gone. I'm not sure if it's because he's asking for too much money or what the deal is, but I think he's gone. Where's he end up? Where's he end up? There's so many teams out there that are in need of corners, but we'll get to that in a second. But another huge question is, they freed up this cap space by getting rid of Ogletree and trading Quinn. They freed up this cap space. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to go after Andrew Norwell? They're going to beef up that offensive line? I mean, Gurley had a hell of a year this past year, but it could be even better if they go out and sign the best offensive lineman on the market. Did they go after Navarro Bowman? You got rid of Alec Ogletree. You're thin at linebacker now. Bowman fits that bill. What about Avery Williamson? He's a Titan. Well, he was a Titan. I don't think John Robinson's going to re-sign him. He'd be a good fit in L.A. He's good at stopping the run, but boy, he's a liability in coverage, but he has improved from year to year. What about Jimmy Graham? Could you imagine Jared Goff thrown to Jimmy Graham? I mean, that'd be a filthy offense. It was already filthy with Goff, Robert Woods, Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, Todd Gurley. Chances are they lose Sammy Watkins. You still got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Todd Gurley. Throw Jimmy Graham in there, and you have another outstanding offensive year. Now, they could still get a deal done with Watkins. They have freed up a lot of cap space. But I feel like Watkins is going to be asking for too much. He had a pretty solid year, but at the same time, you can't go off this year. A team's going to pay the man. But when I look at his injury history, I don't know about it. And then how about the Philadelphia Eagles? Their defense gets even better by acquiring Michael Bennett and a 7th-round pick from Seattle for a 5th-round pick. You just give up a 5th-rounder and you get Michael Bennett and a 7th-rounder? No doubt about it. You make that deal all day. 10 out of 10 times you make that deal. Michael Bennett is a solid player now. I don't like to pay too much attention to the stuff off the field. There's been a bit of controversy the past season, but the Eagles' defense was already one of the better defenses in the NFL. They came up big in the Super Bowl when it mattered most. Got that strip sack from Tom Brady. And now you get Michael Bennett? Golly. And then Seattle, they've released Richard Sherman. The Legion of Boom's over, guys. The Legion of Boom is over. Is Seattle going full rebuild? Did they just decide their window's closed? Time to reboot? Obviously, they've still got Earl Thomas. But they've even said they're going to be looking into deals for him, but it's going to be a high price. Of course, it should be. Earl Thomas is the best safety in the NFL. You still have Cam Chancellor. You still have Bobby Wagner. That defense still has pieces. That defense is still a very solid defense. But Richard Sherman, man, he's one of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game. Now, I know you're nervous. He's coming off an Achilles injury. He's coming off tearing his Achilles. But he's still Richard Sherman. I understand you might want him to take less money, but in his eyes, he earned what he's getting paid. And another team's going to pay him. Another team is going to pay him. And one of those teams might be my own Tennessee Titans. They're in the market to improve that secondary, to even improve that corner. It improved this past year, but it can get a lot better. They've freed up a lot of cap space here lately. Releasing DeMarco Murray, released Matt Castle, Eric Weems, Denoris Searcy. We freed up about $12 to $14 million in cap space alone. You know what that tells me? We're going after a corner. Who's it going to be? Who are we going to sign? Are we signing Richard Sherman, Trumaine Johnson, Malcolm Butler? I don't know which one, but I guarantee you one of those three are going to be a Tennessee Titan. One of those three are going to be a Houston Texan. Guaranteed. Take it to the bank, because I'm guaranteeing it now. And as a Titans fan, I hope we go after Trumaine Johnson. I'd love to have Richard Sherman. But I want the younger Johnson. Now, I still think Richard has a lot of gas left in the tank. And the Houston Texans are going to be looking to rebuild that secondary. That's why I said one of them is going to be a Titan, one of them is going to be a Texan. And I've seen a lot of Titans fans talking about how they don't want Richard Sherman because of his late hit on Marcus Mariota a couple seasons ago. Get over it. I want that guy on my team. I want him doing that to another team's quarterback. Punish him. It's football. I love Marcus Mariota to death, but I'm pretty sure he's over a late hit 2 or 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure Taylor Lewan is over it too. He'd love to have that guy on his team. So don't be fussing and whining and moaning and groaning about, oh, I don't want Richard Sherman on my team. Every NFL team out there wants Richard Sherman on their team. Every team. He has one late hit and you don't want him? Come on, get out of here. It's Richard Sherman, All-Pro, Pro Bowl cornerback from Stanford. Pay the man. Pay the man. This is going to be a great free agency. It's going to be wild. You have Kirk Cousins, who's still in his prime. He's going to be going somewhere, probably more than likely Minnesota. You have quite a bit of corners up. Just top three, you have Richard Sherman, Trumaine Johnson, Malcolm Butler. There's a lot of signings and a lot of shifting going on in the NFL right now. And with the moves the Browns have made today, March 9th, they're shifting up. They're no longer going to be the bottom barrel of the NFL. I'm telling you, I don't even think they finished last in their division no more. I feel like it's going to be between the Ravens and the Bengals. And more than likely, the Ravens. And the Panthers acquired Torrey Smith today. They get another wide receiver. They get a speedster. Is he going to be the next Ted Ginn for him? He could be. He's very serviceable. Cam Newton's going to throw that deep ball to him. Still have Devin Funchess, Greg Olsen. And then how about Mike Evans getting paid today? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely opened the checkbook. He's one of the highest paid wide receivers in all of the NFL. 5-year deal worth $82.5 million with $55 million guaranteed. Oh. Mike Evans, well deserved, man. Well deserved. And how about the Rockets? They just dropped one tonight. Won 17 straight, and they just had it snapped by the Rockets. I mean, by the Raptors, excuse me. Goodness gracious. The Houston Rockets snapped the Houston Rockets win streak. Well, I guess technically they did. I mean, they did put up the L. But, I mean, the Raptors are a good team. And the Rockets are a good team. And I'll tell you right now, if it's a 7-game series, Rockets winning in 5. In 5. It's just crazy, man. Close game. Raptors win 108-105. Harden scores 40. And he almost led Houston to the 19-point comeback. They were down 19. And within the final 10 seconds, you didn't know which way that game was going to go. It was up for grabs. Hell of a fight shown by the Houston Rockets tonight. Hell of a fight. And James Harden, no doubt about it, he's the MVP. And he's the reason why the Houston Rockets are going to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. What? What? Not the Warriors? No. No, it's not the Warriors. It's going to be the Rockets. Their chemistry so well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the Warriors. The Warriors are still one of the best teams, if not the best team of all time. But the Houston Rockets are going to give them fits. They're absolutely going to give them fits in a 7-game series. Chris Paul, James Harden, Clint Capella. There's just so many ways the Rockets can hurt you. And Mike D'Antoni's offense, it's almost unstoppable. It's almost unstoppable. Now, the Warriors, out of every team in the NBA, the Warriors are the team that matches up best against the Houston Rockets. Both teams will play defense. Both teams have high-scoring offenses. But I just feel like the tempo at which Houston's able to play and just stay up-tempo all game long is going to wear the Warriors down in a 7-game series. It's going to wear them down. And what's crazy is at the beginning of the year, I don't know how Chris Paul and James Harden's going to mesh. Well, they've meshed pretty damn well. Chris Paul keeps dishing it to Harden. Harden keeps putting it in the bucket. And that's why James Harden's going to be the MVP. And it's honestly not even close. He's shooting 44.8% from the field. Might as well round that up to 45. 37.9% from three-point range. Might as well make that 38. Averaging 5.2 rebounds a game. 8.9 assists. Go ahead and make it 9. 1.9 steals a game. Go ahead and make that 2. And 30.9 points a game. Go ahead and make that 31. So he's almost averaging a double-double in points and assists. 8.9 assists per game. Get that up to 10, and he's averaging a double-double. Now, granted, that's not Russell Westbrook with the triple-double. But that's MVP worthy because look who all Harden has around him. Versus Westbrook. Westbrook had to do it all last year. Harden doesn't. But if you take Harden off that team, they're not leading the Western Conference right now. They're not even in the top 3 of the Western Conference. Harden is by far the most valuable player on his team. And no, don't give me the LeBron James argument. Because if Cleveland doesn't have LeBron James, this whole season's different. Now, obviously, they're not nowhere near as good. Nowhere near as good. But they're still going to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. They're still going to make the playoffs. They're the 3rd seed right now behind the Raptors and Celtics. And they're at least going to make the playoffs as an 7-8 seed. Because you're not going to tell me a team with Kevin Love, who is hurt right now, and you had Isaiah Thomas earlier in the year, and obviously if they don't have LeBron, they're not going to trade Isaiah Thomas away. Isaiah Thomas is still going to be getting minutes. They're still making the playoffs. If James Harden's not on the Rockets, they're nowhere near the position they're in right now. So in the Eastern Conference, you have the Raptors with the number 1 overall seed, the Celtics 2, Cavaliers 3, Wizards 4, Pacers 5, 76ers 6, Heat 7, and the Bucks at 8. And there's still changes to be made. The Pistons are 5 games behind the Bucks, and the Hornets are 6. If the Bucks aren't able to keep pulling wins together, they're not going to be in. And then in the Western Conference, you have the Rockets at 1, Warriors at 2, Trailblazers at 3, Pelicans at 4, Spurs at 5, Timberwolves at 6, Thunder at 7, with the Clippers at 8. And with the Rockets losing tonight and the Warriors, if they're able to win tonight, they could be the number 1. But those two teams are neck and neck, and the Warriors are the best team in the history of the NBA. They went 73-9, and then they even got better the following year. Best team in the NBA. But the Rockets are going to take them down. And then at the bottom you have, it's such a tight race for that last seed. You have the Clippers 34-29, Nuggets 35-30, Jazz 35-30. And all those teams are playing tonight, so it could shake up. They're the same exact record, except Clippers have played one less game than the Nuggets and Jazz. So the race for the 8th seed in the Western Conference is going to be tight. And honestly, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. The playoffs are going to be electric. You're going to have so many great matchups. If it stood as is right now, in the Western Conference alone, you're going to have the Rockets Clippers first round, Warriors Thunder, Trailblazers Timberwolves, Pelicans Spurs. And honestly, the best series in that first round is going to be the Warriors and Thunder. Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook, OKC versus Golden State. Are you kidding me? Who's not going to watch that? And honestly, the Warriors aren't just going to get a clean sweep. The Thunder's going to put up a fight. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Steven Adams, they're not going to go down easy. That's another team that gives them fits. And the Thunder's playing pretty good basketball. And then the Pelicans Timberwolves. Oh, that would be a great matchup as well. I'm sorry, the Pelicans Spurs. Pelicans Spurs. You'd have Anthony Davis going up against LaMarcus Aldridge, Greg Popovich and the Spurs. They always find a way to get it done. And how great would it be if DeMarcus Cousins was still fully healthy? Man, don't you hate injuries in sports? They just take away from what could have been. So let's recap the show. The Cleveland Browns didn't win a single game in all of 2017. But they won today. They're starting 2018 off right. The actual league year hasn't even started yet, and they're already winning. The Rams are making moves. The Eagles' defense got better. Titans are freeing up cap space. Richard Sherman's no longer a Seahawk. The Legion of Boom's over. James Harden's your MVP. The Rockets are going to win the Western Conference. They're going to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. James Harden is more valuable to the Rockets than any other player. He's the most valuable player. The playoffs are going to be great. And honestly, what more can you ask for in the world of sports? What more can you ask for? As an NFL fan, what more can you ask for than just the Browns getting better? And the Browns, John Dorsey's doing a great job, but none of this is possible if it's not for Sashi Brown. None of this is possible. He's able to trade all these picks, making the money ball work in the NFL. Does it work in the NFL? Who knows? But he gave it his best shot. And he's accumulated all these picks, which have led to John Dorsey being able to make all these moves. Honestly, I'm excited to watch a Browns game next year. I never thought I'd say that. I must be dreaming. Pinch me. But that's all we've got for today's show, and hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Chase Hope, and this is Absurdity.